Breaking news! The week has started off quite busy behind the scenes at the Miami Dolphins, and we have some important points to discuss. Mike McDaniel's team may have some urgent needs for the 2025 NFL Draft, namely, safety, cornerback, left guard, defensive end, nose tackle, but let's be honest, if Ashton Gentry is sitting there when the Dolphins are on the clock at pick 13, the front office will have a tough decision to make. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Why a running back at 13 when we already have speedsters like a Chain and Jalen right in the room? That's exactly what I want to talk to you about. Before you continue, make sure you've already hit the like button and you've been a Miami Dolphins fan for over 17 years. If possible, write something like this: I love the Miami Dolphins, but Greer needs to go. Yes, that's true. But back to the point, why would the Dolphins draft a running back at number 13 when they already have a Chain and Jalen right? The answer lies in what Gentry brings that Miami doesn't already have, a mix of raw power, elite vision, receiving ability, and that factor that makes defenses sweat every time he touches the ball. Let's not sugarcoat it. Boise State's Ashton Gentry is easily the best running back in this year's recruiting class. This guy is built like a tank at 215 pounds, compact, strong, explosive, and despite skipping the 40-yard dash, he has the film to back up every bit of hype surrounding him. You can see it in the way he stands in the backfield, hands off his knees, just standing tall, staring down the defense like he knows what's coming, and more importantly, like he knows they can't stop him. It's no wonder he's projected to go in the top 10. The Raiders love him. Dallas could move up. Several teams in that range have been linked. What if somehow, someway, he slips to Miami at number 13? Yes, you'll hear Roger Goodell say, with the 13th pick, the Miami Dolphins select Ashton Gentry, running back, and fans will lose their minds, in the best way. Gentry brings everything to the table. He's the type of runner who will smash through defenders, shake off arm tackles, and then bounce outside with a quick cut and just be gone. He's a receiving threat too, slick hands, dangerous in open space. His weaknesses? Sure, he's not a top-tier pass blocker. And yeah, he dances a bit too much behind the line. But when the ball's in his hands, none of that matters. You're not drafting Gentry to block. You're drafting him to make plays, big, back-breaking plays. And in Mike McDaniel's offense, with all the pre-snap motion and zone running concepts, the fit is almost too perfect to ignore. But let's pump the brakes for a second. What if Miami doesn't take Gentry, or he's already gone? What are the other options? Well, that's where this list of top 5 draft prospects at running back gets real interesting. At number 2, it's Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. Now this guy has NFL size, 6 feet 1 inch, 220 pounds, and ran a blazing 4.46 40-yard dash. He's a physical runner, loves contact, has solid change of direction skills, and can catch the ball. He's not always patient behind the line, and sometimes he'll charge ahead too early or get caught second-guessing himself in space. But in terms of physical tools and potential fit in Miami's offense, he checks a ton of boxes. Then there's Caleb Johnson out of Iowa at number 3. We're talking about a 6-footer, 225 pounds, another north-south runner with great burst and top-end speed for his size. He's not much of a receiver and struggles a bit with pass protection, but he brings that bruising, no-nonsense energy that's perfect for cold-weather playoff football. And let's face it, if Miami's going deep in January, they're going to need a guy like Johnson who can keep the chains moving when defenses tighten up. At number 4 is Cam Skattebo from Arizona State, a hard-nosed, gritty runner who'd be an ideal complementary piece to a Chain and Wright. He's 5 feet 11 inches, 215 pounds, with a 4.53 to 4.57 40-yard dash. Not elusive by any means, but he'll run through you. His tape shows a guy who embraces contact, keeps his legs churning, and talks a little trash while he's doing it. He's got decent hands too, which makes him versatile in the passing game. His issues? Heavy feet and inconsistent pass blocking. He tries to lay dudes out instead of just making the block. But man, if this guy's there in the 4th or 5th round, don't be surprised if Miami takes a swing. And rounding out the list at number 5 is Tre'Veyon Henderson from Ohio State. At 5 feet 10 inches, 208 pounds, and a lightning-fast 4.43 40, Henderson is a speed back with elite agility, soft hands, and one of the craziest ball security records out there. 573 carries, 75 receptions, just 1 fumble lost. He's a finesse guy, not a bruiser, and tends to bounce runs outside instead of hitting the hole hard. That's a concern in Miami's zone scheme where decisiveness is key. Plus, with the Chain already filling that role, Henderson might be more of a redundancy than a need. Honorable mentions? Oh yeah, Dylan Sampson, Quentin Judkins, Damian Martinez, Brashard Smith, they're all knocking on the door. Each has something to offer, but none quite cracked this top 5. And if you're looking at how Miami drafts, you've got to consider value and fit. The Dolphins aren't desperate at running back, but with multiple mid-round picks and an eye toward January football, it's absolutely on the radar. So that's the breakdown. A loaded running back class with some real potential stars, and one generational guy in Ashton Gentry who could shift the entire identity of this Dolphins offense if he ends up in aqua and orange. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Should Miami take a running back at 13 if Gentry's there? Would you rather wait until day 2 or 3 and target a guy like Cam Skatebo or Caleb Johnson? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me your top 5 backs, and let's keep this conversation rolling. Let's keep it rolling because this conversation is far from over. If you're a Miami Dolphins fan looking at this draft and thinking strictly in terms of need, yeah, running back probably isn't your top priority. But when you start thinking about what this offense could be, especially late in the season when defenses tighten up, cold weather games slow the speedsters down, and the margin for error gets razor thin, then suddenly, having a power back who can move the chains, wear down defenses, and protect the football starts looking a whole lot more essential. That's why Ashton Gentry and the rest of these top backs are more than just flashy names. They're pieces to a bigger puzzle, one that could elevate the Dolphins from playoff hopefuls to legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Now let's go back to the Dolphins' current running back room. You've got Devin Achane, a lightning bolt in cleats, who brings elite speed, can hit the edge in a flash, and makes linebackers look like they're running in mud. Then there's Jalen Wright, another shifty, speed-oriented back who can gash defenses with the right crease. But neither of those guys are built to handle 20-plus carries per game in December or in the trenches of the playoffs. That's the harsh truth. If Miami wants to close out games and control tempo, they need a back who can handle contact, push piles, and grind out tough yards. Enter Gentry, or Hampton, or Johnson. That's the thinking behind these rankings. Let's say Gentry's gone. No surprise there. Top 10 pick, rare talent, off the board. Then it comes down to draft strategy. Do the Dolphins make a move in the 2nd or 3rd round? That's where names like Amarian Hampton and Caleb Johnson come into play. Both have ideal size. Both bring that bruiser mentality. And both are available at spots where Miami doesn't have to sacrifice higher priority positions like O-line or corner. Hampton, in particular, is intriguing. His mix of power, speed, and versatility in the passing game fits the Mcdaniel offense like a glove. Imagine lining him up next to Tua in shotgun with Tyreek Hill in motion and Waddle in the slot. Defenses won't know what's coming. So let's talk strategy. 2 picks in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, a 3rd, and of course, that 13th overall. The smart money says Miami waits until day 2 or 3, especially with bigger holes on the roster. But if Gentry falls, and that's a huge if, you seriously have to think about pulling the trigger. Because players like that don't come around often. And in a league where 1 or 2 explosive, physical playmakers can tilt the balance of power, passing on someone like Gentry could haunt you for years. That's the beauty of this draft. So many possibilities. So many different paths Miami could take.